Good afternoon, everyone. We were tasked to report one of the environmental issues and management, which is the land cover and land use change. Letter A is the drivers. Land use refers to the function of the land and varies from area to area. Land use change is a process by which human activities transform the landscape. An example is conversion to agriculture or pasture land is the primary driver of tropical deforestation, while the land cover refers to the surface cover on the ground, whether vegetation, urban infrastructure, water, bare soil. Identification of land cover is important for global monitoring studies, resources management, and can be performed and provides the ground cover information for baseline thematic maps. Now, let's move on to the types of land use. The first one is the residential land use. This is where we live in, or it is basically any land with a home on it, like in the urban areas and rural areas, where in urban areas are the houses that are very close together, such as in apartment building, while rural areas are the houses that are very far apart from each other. The next one is the agricultural land use. It is where we used for growing and harvesting crops and livestock. Examples are the ranches, farms, and pastures, wherein they need a lot of space because livestock needs space to roam and plants need space to grow. The next one is the industrial land use. It is a land that is used for manufacturing processes or storing raw materials, wherein it can cause many environmental impacts on air quality, soil, and groundwater. Like for examples are the smoke, soil health, and chemical spills. The next one is the commercial land use. It is the any land that is used for business commercial areas, usually have places like grocery stores, clothing stores, home goods, pharmacies, and restaurants. The next one is the recreational land use. This is a land that is used for purposes of recreation or land most suitable for uses which provide for activities or services of a recreational nature. Examples are sport fields, gymnasiums, playgrounds, public parks, public beaches, and swimming pools and camping sites. The next one is the institutional land use. This land is used for community services. Examples of these are schools emergency services, religious buildings, libraries, sports arenas, and government offices, wherein these buildings are not only in one place, but throughout the community so they are easily accessible to people who need them. And the last one is the transportation land use. Land can also be used for transportation. Why? Because roads and railways needs to be made to allow people to move around, also communities in countries easily. This is really important for moving goods from place to place, allowing industries, agricultural and commercial businesses to operate. Land use planning is a process of evaluating the needs and wants of the population. In making good land use decisions, the decision process must involve the public, private landowners, developers, government, and special interest group. A basic role is to make an environmental impact assessment or environmental impact statement.
Habitat loss. Habitat loss is one of the main threats to the survival of wildlife in most countries. There are three major kinds of National Wildlife Federation. First is habitat destruction, wherein it is elimination or alteration of the condition necessary for animals and plants to survive. For example, mining and agriculture. Second, habitat fragmentation. It is the part of a habitat are destroyed, leaving behind smaller unconnected areas. Example, construction of a road through a woodland. And last, habitat degradation, where the condition declined due to factors such as pollution. And the usual Drivers of habitat loss include agriculture, conversion for development, water development, pollution, and global warming.
Another impact is deforestation. It is the complete removal of the trees in the forest in order to convert the area for a different purpose. As development takes place, the increase of forest formation that are degraded or destroyed is now increasing. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization reported that approximately 16.9 million hectares are being cleared each year. Forests plays a different important roles. These are good source of food, fuel, medicine, construction, clothing materials, decorative plants, and display animals, and it also serves as a buffer for temperature. Deforestation removes the root system protection for soil and water, which may result to runoff and floods, and eventually leads to soil erosion and landslides. Thus, there is a need to be aware and implement strict laws to protect the forest. Causes. Deforestation causes can either be direct or indirect. Direct causes are natural causes as hurricanes, fires, parasites, and floods. Human activities are agricultural expansion, which is the conversion of non-agricultural lands to agricultural lands. For example, conversion of forested lands to crops, wetlands to rice fields or fish ponds, or natural grassland to pastures. Cattle breeding, timber extraction, which is the cut down of centuries-old trees to make timber or cellulose for the furniture or paper industry. Mining, oil extraction, dam construction, and infrastructure development. Indirect causes are insufficient political action and governance failures, as inadequate land tenure system, corruption, wrong public administration investment. Political and socio-economic causes are population growth, wherein more people require more food and space, which requires more land for agriculture and habitation. This in turn results in more clearing of forests. Military conflicts and climatic changes. The main causes of deforestation can actually be led back, especially to substitution of forest areas with cultivations and breeding, or timber extraction or firewood collection, road and infrastructure construction.
This is the dealing with deforestation, forest landscape restoration, or FLR. FLR brings people together to identify and implement the most appropriate restoration interventions in a landscape. And also it seeks to accommodate the needs of all land users and multiple land uses. And it can include multiple activities like agroforestry, erosion control, and natural forest regeneration. And lastly is it also addresses the underlying drivers of forest loss. Okay, this is the power of the marketplace. The one is companies can make an impact by introducing and implementing zero deforestation policies that can clean up their supply chains. So this zero deforestation is it's a particular visible contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. This is also an article argues that overcoming deforestation then the natural ecosystems to provide benefits critical to agriculture. And also it's set ambitious targets to maximize the use of recycled wood, pulp, paper, and fiber in the products. It's the one, and the last for the non-recycled products they buy. They should ensure that any virgin fiber used has transparent, credible assurances that it was sourced in a legal way that respects principles of the environmental and social responsibility.
Hello! My topic for today is all about standing with indigenous peoples, promoting sustainable choices, changing in the politics of the National Integrated Protected Area System, or what we call NEPA's Law, Republic Act number 7586, or the NEPA's Act of 1992. The NEPA's Act covers all protected areas, whether terrestrial, coastal, or marine. Since 1992, a total of 234 protected areas covering 5.23 million hectares and 0.22 million hectares buffer zone were governed under the NEPA's Act DNR 2009. To secure for the Filipino people of present and future generations the perpetual existence of all native plants and animals through the establishment of a comprehensive system of integrated protected areas within the classification of national park as provided for in the Constitution, Section 2, NEPA's Act. This refers to the classification and administration of designated protected areas to maintain essential ecological processes and life support systems, to preserve genetic diversity, to ensure sustainable use of resources found therein, and to maintain their national condition to the greatest extent possible. Provides the legal framework for the establishment and management of protected areas, or what we call PIAs, in the Philippines, and that the use and enjoyment of the protected areas must be consistent with the principle and biological diversity and sustainable development, providing for the establishment and management of national integrated protected area system, defining its scope and coverage, and for other purposes. Next in line is the impacts. When we say desertification, it is a form of land degradation, loss of soil moisture to the point where the land loses some or all of its productivity or ability to reduce vegetation, occurs primarily in areas where arid climate. Does not literally mean conversion of land to desert. Only in some extreme cases. When we say desertification is the degradation process which a fertile and changes itself into a desert by losing its flora and fauna. This can be caused by drought, deforestation, climate change, human activities, or improper agriculture. Desertification is a process of degradation of the land. Next in line, the causes. The first one is the natural, severe and prolonged drought. Number 2, human activities like farming, deforestation, mining, urbanization, and overgrazing by livestock. When we say overgrazing, occurs when the too many animals graze for too long, exceeding the ability of the grassland areas to support them. When we say overgrazing, it can be caused by either livestock and poorly managed agriculture application, game reserve, or nature reserves. Note: grazelands are renewable as long as they are not overused. Overgrazed lands have exposed soil and grasses that were entered down to its soil level. And that's all. Thank you.